Hi guys, and welcome to another historical video. So I'm going to be exploring the remains of the Newtown goods yard, which is based in Huddersfield. Now this line ran for 4.5 miles from here where I'm stood now to the lower Hopton junction in Mirfield, and it opened on the 1st of November 1910, closing in the mid-60s. Now, it's not the most exciting line that I've actually done, but you know, there's a lot of bridges that are still left. Even though a majority of the cuttings have been landfilled, you can still see a lot of remains and a lot of remnants that this was a railway line. Eventually, the line was to have been shortened by 1.2 miles, so the bit that I've just walked down would have been operating, I believe, and the branch line would have branched off from just there, off the main line, and then carried on down here. This photo here shows the branch line just next to the main line just there, which was taken in the 1980s. Like I say, it would have carried on down in this direction. Now, as a child, I remember a lot, especially through the late 90s, walking down towards Leeds Road playing fields, and this section right here, there were a lot of deep cuttings. The majority of the line was a deep cutting, moving towards Deaton, which eventually towards the end of the 90s, all the cuttings were filled and the cuttings were shortened, and it was created into a cycle path, which you can just see here now. So the line past Deaton railway station, as you can make out down there, moving on towards Deaton and Bradley. And if you've watched one of my previous videos, the Kirkburton branch line would have been down in the far distance. You can just make it out just down there as the camera zooms in. And yeah. And just here would have been a bridge that you used to be able to walk underneath. Again, you can see the landfills, and this would have been another one here, just a few yards along, and going towards Bradley and Leeds Road. Yeah, look, just here you can just see where it's all been landfilled. You used to be able to walk underneath these bridges and then carry on the journey towards Bradley and the Calder Valley Greenway. So another bridge would have carried on across Leeds Road, going through that little bit there. Now this bit wasn't the actual line, but it was the approach back onto the line, which was to approach the Bradley viaduct, which actually crossed over the main line again, the Huddersfield to Leeds line. Now you can tell that from just over there, there was a bridge that must have crossed over and then carried on towards the line, just over the main line. And then it would have continued its approach towards Bradley Viaduct, which still stands. This photo here shows the construction of the viaduct. Viaduct had 15 arches going across. This was another bridge that would have crossed the road, moving on towards Mirfield. As you can see again, it's been completely landfilled. This is the view from the other side, and then you would have come across some track bed. The first bit of proper track bed, without any of the greenway, as I had to walk adjacent to the track bed, which is all overgrown, continuing the journey towards Mirfield. So on the approach to Mirfield, just on the right there, you can just see an old goods shed. Not exactly sure what the purpose of it was for, but it still remains. As you can see, it's still accessible, but there's nothing in there. track bed will then continue from the other side of the bridge on towards Lower Hopton and Mirfield. So moving on to the final part of the line, as you can see, a lot of it's overgrown with trees and brambles. So this was actually part of the track bed, and then just a little bit further along, you'll probably see in the video, you can just about see some houses that have been built across majority of the section of the end of where the line, I believe, ended, near towards Mirfield railway station. Hope you all enjoyed the explore, guys. And there is another section on this railway line to look out for.